Welcome to Studio D on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. This is Sooner Sports Pad. Now, here's your host, Allison Gappa.
Welcome to Sooner Sports Pad. I'm Allison Gappa alongside Mason Prince, Heather Healy, and our very energetic live studio audience. Guys, who's in there?
We've got the international students, the Gaylord audio production class, and the Sooner One dirt track racing team with us today.
Oh, but that's not all. Members of the OU golf team.
That's
Michael
right.
Gellerman is in the audience.
Right.
And we've also got Charlie Saxon in there. We'll talk with both of them later on.
Well, coming up later in the show, we'll give you an inside look of what Sooner football is really like after the doors are closed.
And coming up a little later in Face-Off, Heather and I debate how we would fare in an at-bat against OU softball's Paige Parker. Give you a hint, not very well.
But first up, we like to start the show off with Launchpad. It's the week's biggest news in OU athletics, and we are talking OU women's gymnastics, finishing third at the NCAA National Championships on Friday. In event finals, OU had 10 top 10 finishes, including freshman Brenna Dow claiming runner-up on floor. But let's jump back to team finals. Mason, what happened for the Sooners?
Well, it was a tough loss for this team, but they need to keep their heads up high. This team is only graduating 3 seniors from a large team. The seniors are Erica Brewer, Rebecca Clark, and Haley Sorensen. After being ranked #1 pretty much all year long, it's tough to finish third. I understand that. But this team had a tough regular season schedule, and they got everybody's best shot all year long and survived the regular season undefeated, which is an accomplishment that they should be proud of. So they have a whole lot to be proud of in that third-place finish.
With that third-place finish, they need to take that with all its might because they were ranked #1 for 15 weeks in a row. Last year, the Sooners tied for first place in the national championship with Florida and beat them on their home turf this season. They were only undefeated team during regular season while also having 13 NCAA All-American awards and 11 regular season All-American accolades. And they don't have a national championship this year. What's up with that, judges? Come on.
Yeah.
There's always next year, and there's no doubt in my mind the Sooners will be ready than ever to compete.
All right, guys, well, plenty of Sooner action to choose from. Who are your MVPs for the week?
Well, for me, it's my boy, Craig, a.k.a.
Yeah,
Rakes
it
Aiken.
is.
He went 4 for 6 on Sunday, scored 2 runs, and added 1 RBI. He's having a great year, by the way, leading the team in hits, doubles, and is second in triples and total bases. It was Aiken's third 4-hit game of the season, and he continues to play lights out for this team. He's batting .358, which is bonkers. He's batting .358 for the season.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely
he's great.
Amazing. Well, mine is tennis star Axel Alvarez.
Axel Alvarez.
Not only did he help win with Bedlam yesterday, he's the first Sooner ever to be the #1 ranked single player in the country by the ITA. He's 19-0 in dual play this season with 17 of his wins in straight sets and 14 are against ranked opponents. He not only did he disappoint yesterday cheering up on the court against Oklahoma State, helping the Sooners become your Big 12 champs, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
You're welcome.
That's right. Axel, one of the best names in tennis right there.
All right, we'll talk more tennis coming up, but first up in this week's Spotlight, we've got Lauren Chamberlain, who tied the NCAA career record with her 90th home run on Saturday. Our own Sepanik sat down with her.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Lauren Chamberlain. Lauren, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, first things first, you know, there's been such a big talk about the historic milestone that you've been coming close to and that you matched on Saturday. Can you just take us through the process of what it's been like and the support system that you've had in place to help you along the journey?
Yeah, for sure. Man, it's been kind of stressful, I'm not going to lie, but honestly, it's just been kind of like a long process, and I've been, you know, waiting and waiting for this moment to come just, you know, with the tie. But honestly, the support from my team has been what's best, and my family as well. But I'm always here with my team, and to know that my coaches love me no matter what, and my teammates love me no matter what, and they've made that pretty clear. And just to know that regardless of my home runs and what I do on the field, that they still love me as a person and that they still respect me as a ball player. And I think that's helped aid my confidence throughout this whole thing, because there have been some ups and downs for sure in my journey on this path. So it's been tough but rewarding at the same time.
And you've been on some great teams here at OU in your time. How does this one stack up, especially to a team that won a national championship a few years ago?
Oh, absolutely stacks up, because if you really look at the lineup and the numbers that we're producing, and team average to start is insane. And, you know, it's not just Shelby, it's up and down the lineup that allows me to do what I do. And just, you know, it's nice to know that if I have an off day, that they're right there to pick me up and vice versa. So I think it's cool. It's a good, confident feeling to have when your lineup's that good.
And is it championship or bust for this team?
Oh, Yes, absolutely. It is every year.
Cool. Well, Lauren, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Guys, back to you in the studio.
Thanks so much, Zach. Well, OU men's tennis won the Big 12 title yesterday. Mason, how big was this for us?
It was huge. They tied Baylor for the Big 12 title after they beat OSU on Sunday. This is the 4th year in a row that the Sooners have won either the Big 12 regular season title or the Big 12 tournament. This title is shared with Baylor, like I said, whom OU holds a 3-0 record against so far this season, by the way. The team looks to take the tournament title as well as they play in the Big 12 tourney on Thursday on Baylor's turf in Waco.
Well, it was senior day for the track and field
Senior day.
team as they competed in the John Jacobs Invitational here in Norman. Senior Alex Morgan won the discus throw, while junior Liz Hers won the javelin and is now 2nd in the nation in that event. How cool is that, right?
Great.
And on the men's side, Chase Salmons won his 3rd consecutive shot put meet, and Tyler Renton won in the javelin throw. The Sooners head up north to compete in the Penn Relays next week in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Well, Thursday was a tough loss for the Sooner softball team against those Baylor Bears. But once the weekend rolled around, they picked it back up and showed why they're one of the best teams in the nation. The Sooners took games on Friday and Saturday to win the series and improve to 11-1 in Big 12 play and 38-6 overall. Chamberlain may have tied the all-time record, but Shelby Penley keeps on playing great as well as she hit her nation-leading, I say leading, 23rd homer of the year and the 83rd of her career, moving her into 6th all-time. OU is taking on North Texas right now in Norman.
Well, the baseball team had a great start with their series against West Virginia on Friday, let it slip away on Saturday, but made up for it on Sunday, dominating the Mountaineers 10-2, scoring 5 runs in the 5th inning and 4 in the 6th. You can clap for that. It's fine.
Yeah, they won the series.
The Sooners are tied for 1st in the Big 12, right up there with Oklahoma State, and they return for a 5-game homestand starting tomorrow night against Alcorn State.
Yeah, so pretty good weekend in Sooner
Very
sports.
good weekend.
Definitely. Well, it doesn't stop right here on Sooner Sports Pad. Coming up next in Face Off, we'll debate where OU baseball will finish in the Big 12. Plus, we've got golfers Charlie Saxon and Michael Gellerman in studio. We'll talk with them. Stay with us. Topics. I've got golfers Michael Gellerman, Charlie Saxon in studio. They're going to help out with Face Off. And Michael has your first question.
Which Sooner goes the highest in the NFL draft?
Jordan Phillips will be a late 1st or an early 2nd round pick. He's a big, strong defensive lineman that some teams could really use right now. Who might take him? Well, how about the Detroit Lions, who just let go of Ndamukong Suh, let him go to the Dolphins, which is kind of dumb, but oh well. They could use a big guy like Phillips to fill that void. Or maybe the New Orleans Saints at number 31, they could take Phillips. He's a, shmoney.
There you go.
Got it.
You got it.
I take him. Take him.
Well, excuse you. Say hello to Mr. Tyrus Thompson.
He's good too.
Yeah.
He's good
you
too.
You have some history though with him,
We
right?
love pumpkin pie.
And he loves throwing in people's faces. That's
pie.
fine. But what's not to love about him? This 6'5", 324-pounder. Look at all of that.
Yeah.
Can do some damage on the field no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
What's different about him? He can change direction in that pass protection and adjust quickly to get to those main targets. I think that's what's key. For as big as he is, he's very light and quick on his feet. He can walk the walk and talk the talk. Ladies and gentlemen, NFL teams, this is your guy right here.
Yeah,
all right, guys, your next face-off question is coming from Charlie.
Where will OU baseball finish in the Big 12 this year?
A 2nd place finish would be a great scenario for them. I'm going to tell you why. They're currently 2nd in the Big 12 standings, even though they have more wins than the number 1 OSU Cowboys. OU has a conference series left against OSU, Kansas State, and TCU. So I think if they win 2 out of those 3 series, and I'm not saying they have to sweep, but winning 2 out of those 3-game series, I think OU finishes 2nd in the league.
Well, they may be 1st now, but I think 4th is where they'll finish. I
No.
know.
Boo.
Hold up.
No.
Right now they're
Boo.
tied for 1st with Oklahoma State, who blew them out of the water a few weeks ago. I'm not going to say the score because you know why.
Yeah, it was rough.
But they have to play the Cowboys again in the next couple of weeks. Maybe redemption is going to be in the air.
Redemption.
Right, and then they also have to play TCU, which is no easy task either. So I think the 4th slot is right where they'll land at the end of the season.
Okay.
All right, guys, your third face-off question coming from David from Sooner One Racing.
What would you do at an at-bat against Paige Parker?
I love to hear this.
I would either bunt or try to get hit by a pitch. Parker is 19-4 on the year and is averaging 5.46 strikeouts every time she steps on the field. That's insane. Opponents are batting 173 against her, so I'm just going to hug the plate and probably get a big old elbow pad and try to get some chin music thrown my way. Maybe talk a little smack and try to get hit, or maybe bunt. That's the only way that I would get it to work.
Well, with a pitcher like her, I would strike out myself silly. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, that's
let's
true.
be honest.
Yeah.
I would just try to see if there would be any contact with that bat, because as fast she's throwing and the balls that she's throwing, I just try to see if anything would happen, and with my luck, it wouldn't. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, it's time to pick our winner. Audience, cheer loudest for whoever you think won. Is it Heather?
Yes.
If she wins again.
Yes. Thank you.
Or is it Mason?
Man, I'm never going to win. I
Get
swear.
out of
Mason,
here.
I think I'm going to give that one to you. Good job. Good
Thank
job
you.
over here.
Yes. I finally
time in a long
win.
time.
It's the first time in a
Tweet of the
long
week.
time.
This one coming from the OU men's tennis Twitter account after winning the Big 12 title yesterday. #champs. Congrats to those guys. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we'll take a look at OU football players putting on a different uniform after school. Stay with us.
Special thanks to our cornerstone television partners, Chesapeake Energy, Riverwind Resort, Anheuser-Busch, OU Outreach, OU Alumni Association, OU Medicine, and the OU President's Associates.
Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad. OU Athletics prepares student athletes for success in life after sports. Heather Healy reports on OU football players putting on a different uniform after school.
Being part of the University of Oklahoma football program is something special that few get to take part in. It's a bond. It's a special type of brotherhood with a rich history beyond its years.
Walking along the walls, the hallways, and walking on the walls, you see all these pictures of Billy Vessels and Jerry Tubbs and Tommy McDonald. I mean, and I call them the ghosts on the wall, because they were basically looking down at you. And you really had the eerie feeling of these people are watching you as you walk down these halls, and the mere fact that you're here, and they're making sure that you don't do anything to screw up what they've established.
Yes, being a part of this history means something special, and each player soaks up every moment knowing that their time here will not last forever. But what happens when the doors close behind them one final time?
To be honest, I'm still adjusting. It's been really hard for me in terms of adjusting and not playing football anymore, because you go from like this lifelong dream and accomplishing it to being able to find, a new avenue to focus and concentrate more in.
Almost all have major adjustments to make because only a select few will play on Sundays.
Obviously I have fears. I think everybody fears not being successful, and I think that's what motivates me and what drives me. I think my drive to be successful is what, keeps me going, so.
There are really three main things that I'm looking at, which is missionary work, law school, and then coaching. When it comes to all three of those, they all allow me to help others. I'm really big. I like helping people, and I like being around people.
No matter where life takes them, the time spent here has made a lasting impression, affecting everything that happens beyond Owen Field.
The fact that I come to visit this place during the spring, and I find out the dorm I'm living in is called Washington House. So all of these things were basically, taking place, and I've closed another chapter.
Being immersed in this program has molded everyone to being successful in the path they choose to lead when their time is done.
If I could do it, anybody can do it. It's out there. You just got to be hungry. You got to want it. And this is a great place to do it, especially here at Oklahoma. This is a place that's got great traditions, and if you can be successful here, then you can be successful in the league.
Only 2% of NCAA basketball players and football players are going to play in the NBA or NFL. It's like mostly all of us are going pro in something other than sports, and that's just the fact of the matter. Really take advantage of college experience, you know, and understand that the time that you have to play the game is finite, no matter what, even if you do go and play in the league, in any league. So.
Whether it's moving on to compete in the pros or hanging up the cleats for good, the lessons learned on the gridiron are something every Sooner will be able to apply in their lives. Heather Healy, Sooner Sports Pad.
Thanks, Heather. The 2015 Men's Golf Big 12 Championship is April 27th through the 29th in Tulsa. And in studio with us, we've got golfers Charlie Saxon, Michael Gellerman, and they are joined by Heather and Mason. Guys.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for having us. Yeah. All right, so you guys have 9 wins on the season. You've won 2 straight tournaments. It's the first time under your head coach, Ryan Hibble, that you've won 2 straight tournaments. What does he bring to this team? What does he bring to you? How does he make you guys better as players?
Go ahead.
Well, Coach, well, my favorite thing about Coach is, you know, he's a former player himself. He's a 3-time All-American at Georgia, so, you know, he's been there, he's done it. He's still a really good player. He whoops up on us on a daily basis. So he brings a lot of competitiveness to the team. He brings experience. He knows how to relate with us. Knows what we're going through because he's done it before. And I think that's something that's really been awesome with having Coach Hibble.
Yeah, he's fairly young, so he kind of, you know, just like Charlie was saying, he knows what we're going through, and he can really relate to us as players, but as people also. And he's just really good at instilling confidence in us and just having us grow as people and golfers. Yeah.
Well, the Big 12 tournament is coming up, if you didn't know. Who is y'all's biggest competitor?
There are a lot of them. Big 12 is pretty stacked this year. Texas is probably the best team in the country, or one of the best teams in the country.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so they'll be playing real well. But yeah, this is probably the best Big 12 has been in a long time. So, you know, there's a lot of guys to go compete against.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Texas Tech's really good, and the Cowpokes are pretty good too. Unfortunately,
so.
Like that.
Yeah. Well, the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship were played at Southern Hills a few years back. So do you guys have experience at this course? What's it going to be like playing on a course that you've, you know, seen guys like Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson and Tom Watson and Bubba Watson play?
Well, I've played there a little bit, but Charlie is a member. He lives out there, so it's going to be really good for him.
918 repping.
Yeah,
there we go. I like that.
He's logged some more rounds than even Tiger has. But most of our guys have been out there. We have a freshman, and I think we have another newbie that hasn't been out there. But we do have some good experience, more than pretty much any team in the Big 12. Yeah. So it'll be good for us.
And Allison has an audience question for you.
I do. This one is coming from Gulu.
What's it been like playing on this team?
It's been awesome. I wanted to play for OU ever since I was little, and you know, getting to play here has been a dream come true. Everything I've expected to be, and it's just fun putting on the crimson and cream every day.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Don't go anywhere, because coming up next in this week's Sooner Sports Pad Challenge, we're having a donut challenge.
Cookie Monster.
Sooner Sports Pod. Coming up this week in Sooner Sports, OU baseball is taking on Sam Houston State, starting on Friday at 6, continuing Saturday at 2, wrapping up Sunday at 2. And the 2015 Men's Golf Big 12 Championship is April 27th, 28th, and 29th in Tulsa. For a complete schedule, head over to Soonersports.com. It's now time for this week's Sooner Sports Pad Challenge. We've got a pretty fun game for you guys today. It's a donut challenge, and we have men's golfers before they head to Tulsa. They're hanging out, eating some donuts with us. Charlie Saxon, Michael Gellerman, our hosts. How it works is we've got 4 delicious Cookie Monster-looking donuts, and whoever can eat their donut first is our winner. So let's get going. In 3, 2, 1, chomp. I think Charlie got some Oreos. Charlie has a little bit of a hole on it. Mason kind of has like half of the bite. Charlie's definitely in first place. He's got half of his donut gone. Heather has a bite. Michael has a bite. I know. He's going to town over here. He's going to town. Michael has like almost half of his, and Heather and Mason have like nothing. There's a little interference. I'm glad it's just one. That's a lot of sugar in a short amount of time. Michael is, he might catch up with you. He's like definitely going to be on, definitely catching up. They're rooting for you to do it. I feel bad. You guys are like starting to sweat. I can only imagine how this tastes. All right, Michael is our second place right now, interfering a little bit with Charlie. Charlie's definitely our first. Mason, I think, is our third, and Heather is our fourth.